Him, two, go! Him, two, go!
Una good evening, my fellow AMBAZONIANs. Una good evening for all una. I hope say all man dey fine. Una welcome for this beautiful interaction where one can get them for all una. I hope say any place where you dey for the around the world as an AMBAZONIAN. I hope say you dey fine. Today, now number 9 day for the month of June. Today na Wednesday, number 9 day for the month of June for 2021. I don't come with very good news. I don't come for can give una a breaking news. We don't come up for that side for the United States of America. Before we go for that news, Mateuna, the wahala, the problems of La République du Cameroun, they just the start. The wahala for poor Biya head. The wahala for the Cameroon colonial ministers and the top generals of Cameroon army, police, gendarmes, their wahala is just the start. Today, Mr. Joe Biden, the President of the United States of America, he don't get a new ambassador where they don't send it for La République du Cameroon. The US, they don't get a new ambassador where they don't send them for La République du Cameroon as a change of policy. When they change policy, when the new administration come in, and they come in with a new policy, with the new things and with how they want to make things be done, they get for put in the right people then, where they go carry out the mission for the US government. So Mr. Joe Biden, for April 15, 2021, he be nominate Mr. Christopher John Lamora as the person where the US Senate they go confirm me for make it be the new ambassador for La République du Cameroon. 4 days later, they be send that nomination, make it go to the US Senate. Yesterday, the United States Senate, it be get a confirmation hearing for interview Mr. Christopher John Lamora for interview for see whether they qualify, whether they get all the experience for become the new US ambassador for La République du Cameroon. That one, it will take place yesterday. All right. So the US Secretary of State, Mr. Blinken, Anthony Blinken, now in that for up, now new ambassador this for down. So Mr. Lamora, now boss that Mr. Blinken. So Mr. Blinken, when they appoint Mr. Blinken as the new US Secretary of State, now he now get for assemble all the people then where they understand the new vision for the new US president and they understand what the mission where they don't give Mr. Blinken as the US Secretary of State. So he assembled all this team of people. So finally, now this man, Mr. Christopher John Lamora, now in this, now he be the new US ambassador for La République du Cameroon. Make a give a background. Mr. Lamora, na person where he come out for the state of New York, for Rhode Island, for New York. All right. Now a career member for the senior foreign service. That means saying that the big place where the top US diplomats that they come out for there. All right. So right now, just before this, before the movie, before he become the new ambassador for La République du Cameroon, the US ambassador for La République du Cameroon, now he be the deputy chief of mission for United States Embassy for Accra, Ghana. So now if you understand, a person will already get a lot of experience for work for the region. He other work them, he don't be the acting deputy assistant secretary for the US State Department for Central Africa and the African Security Affairs for the Bureaus of African Affairs for US State Department. He also don't be Director of Office for Central African Affairs, Deputy Director for Bureau of Office for Economic and Regional Affairs for the US State Department for Central Africa, for Central African region. Also, now he don't be the desk officer for Democratic Republic of Congo, so he don't take assignment them for US Embassy for Guatemala, Dominican Republic, for Greece, okay, for Central Africa, and he don't also work as the Director General for US Consulate for Douala, La République du Cameroon. So, he speak 3 languages, he speak 3 foreign languages, he speak French, he be very fluent for French, he be very fluent for Spanish, and he also speak Greek. All right? An American way, he speaks Spanish, he speaks French, and he also speaks Greek. So in a person we don't get a lot of experience when it come for Cameroon, when it come for that block, what they call and say that mess for Africa, what they call and say Central African Republic. All right? What did this one mean? Now a signal, as we were talking yesterday, the new US policy where they don't put them for hold Mr. Paul Biya accountable for his crimes against the Ambazonian people them. For hold the Cameroun government accountable for their atrocities, their human rights abuses, their terrorism on the Ambazonian people then. Now a new chapter this for the new administration will just take office. Now a new chapter for the world. Mr. Biden, he make him a central policy for prioritize the issues of human rights and democratic principles as a key policy for Africa. He don't put in the key people then for oversee the implementation of their policies. The introduction for this new policy framework where they design them specifically for hold Paul Biya accountable by the US Senate. Now a signal say wait it don't happen for the past. Nobody go commit atrocities, commit human rights abuses, keep people them anyhow, arrest people them anyhow, not agree make people they talk, just catch all man put them for prison. Those days are over. Those days, they don't be over. The United States, now the pillar for human rights protection for all over the world, since they become a state, since they become the dominant economic and superpower for the world, the dominant political power, they make their country for make it be the guarantor of human rights, of human dignity for the world. And their foreign policy, in most instances, it reflects those core values. And if we look for Mr. Biden, a track record, we see a fight, will be fight for South Africa. He get a track record for this kind of work. And so he don't assemble a team of people then for do this kind of work. So the first time when they don't introduce this policy framework specifically for address the human rights abuses, the atrocities, and the destruction where the colonial dictator of La République du Cameroun et the cause for AMBAZONIA, that policy framework where they don't introduce them by the US Senate, and now they don't make them, they don't create the first piece of it. We will all marry them 2 days ago for targeted sanctions. Now just the beginning of the wahala, of the palaver for the end of Paul Biya as a dictator for inside La République du Cameroun. Now also the beginning for start the process for bring accountability, for bring responsibility, and eventually for bring justice to Paul Biya, to all its top ministers, and to all its top generals where they oversee the war of AMBAZONIA. This policy framework where they don't introduce them for the United States. Now the beginning this for a shift for the way the world don't respond to that policy. Where the Norwegian Refugee Council, it don't talk say that the most neglected conflict for the world. Now a global policy shift. Once the US shift, the whole world will follow. When I see and when they bring the US Senate resolution for the conflict for Southern Cameroon's AMBAZONIA, when I see it not even reached 4 months or 6 months, the Canadian Parliament, it put out the biggest policy regarding that matter, and they move the number of people then when they don't die from 3,000, they officially put them to about 6,400 people then, and they put specific key recommendations with the Canadian government it get for take them for hold Paul Biya accountable and bring justice to the Ambazonian people then. So this policy shift for the US, now a change in global response for Paul Biya a terrorism for Ambazonia. Now just the beginning this. Now just the beginning. So while the leader of our war of independence, he tell them, say, he falls short of expectation, not just the beginning. Today, sir, I begin to talk with one of our chief policy strategists. And I asked him, say, give me examples when they don't do this kind of policy, now how it don't change the behavior. He said, oh, he said, wait. He said, talk for any expert. And I reach out for some key experts them across the globe. Some people there, they give me advice for this kind of work. And I reach out to them. They said, look, that policy where the United States don't introduce them and they make them official and public, they said, look, we don't know where they come for la Republic of Cameroon. They say this policy now a game changer for the danger where it day ahead of Cameroon and it day ahead of Biya. Now the first step this. They said for this kind of policy them, they always take an a small. They need to just come one time so that they need to work like that. When they introduce this policy them, and then they start for put in the key ingredients for those policies. So now they don't start with visa sanctions. Now so it always start. Now the same thing, what chief political strategist, he tell me, he said that the same thing happened when for Sudan, when the Sudan government, the Sudan central government, it be start with the people of South Sudan for do the same thing Biya they do and for AMBAZONIA. They start with the Christians them for South Sudan. They start for commit genocide and do all kind of atrocities. And they be thinking the world go, she don't quiet. Eventually, after a lot of fighting, confrontation, the world step in, the United States step in and introduce something similar for give them visa restriction, traveling restrictions. So the moment they started traveling restrictions, all these things, now pressure point, as I call them, as I used to tell now, we call them leverage. Now international leverage for send warnings and start for put pressure for the regime. For say, look, if you not stop what you did do, if you not enter into a credible negotiation where it be acceptable by the world and it be acceptable by the Ambazonian people then, we no go allow you one more day for continue with this attitude of brutality, terrorism, and genocide on those people then. We no go allow them. So this pressure with the mountain, not just the starting point of international pressure. The pressure will go come for la Republic of Cameroon. The pressure will go come for the Cameroon colonial ministers. The pressure will go come for the Cameroon colonial military, especially their top generals. Not just the beginning. Not just the beginning. Once they start with these visa restrictions, before you want to know them, they go put international travel ban. That's how they always start. They go start with these visa restrictions, and then they put international travel ban. Right up to Biya. Once they ban them for travel internationally, once they put these visa restrictions, you want to see now that person now move. You know want come America. Now, the moment he enter England, you see they place a warrant of arrest for them. Then they go move to other things. According to one of the other experts, he said, make we expect the US government, after this first phase of the sanctions, they go move to the next phase, where they go start for freeze the assets of all the key people then around the Biya government. So this first phase, not just introduction, for give them small warm-up, for send red signal, for warn them. You know what enter negotiation? You know what enter into a credible dialogue? You know what stop the war? You know what storm for burn villages? You know what pull out their army? You know what dialogue with these people them? You know what respect going to be bring the two countries them together? Now they will go for the next level. International travel ban. Then when I 1 year, they go start now asset freezing. When I don't see them the United States, they don't do them for many other countries then where they don't do this, where they don't get these kind of behaviors. So for people them like Atanga and Jipol, they go look every Cameroon minister. Okay, they will say, okay, this person, he buy 10 house for America. As a minister, where in money only been a so per year, how he managed afford all these expensive, luxurious buildings for the United States. The US government don't do them for many African countries, them where their leaders, they be very corrupt, where they are paying the thief money, they don't do them. So now they will go after, they start to look for those assets and then freeze those assets, and then the US government now will take those assets. Now for it, they always start. So the palaver for Cameroon, the palaver for Paul Biya, the palaver for all the ministers of La Republic, their palaver, they just start. Their wahala, now just the beginning of this. We just there for the tipping point of which day ahead. We there for the tipping point. There is more to come for all these people, them. All of them. Justice go come. Once a democratic president, he enter power, their focus now always to hold these kind of people them accountable. Because one of the key, if you don't study the democratic values, especially for their international posture, now always for promote human rights, for promote democracy, and for stop this kind of abuse them. So, but if you now look at President Biden, a background, now person where is stand very strongly against these kind of things them, no matter place where that it happen for the world. Even for the US, now person where never ever accept these kind of things them, like discrimination, all that kind of things them. Now person where don't always oppose those kind of things them. And since he take power for the US, when I don't see the kind of legislation we don't pass them already. All right? So think about what this one mean, because what the US they try for do now for change the way the African the relationship with the continent of Africa it get them for the United States. They want change them so that they put in the key people them where they go build new relationship and for help African citizens, the citizens of African continent, for get more freedom where they start for hold their own governments accountable and they get the backings of the United States. The situation for AMBAZONIA and almost for what happened for South Sudan look like the same two things between the central government and the South Sudan Christians. It start na so, and then after, when it reach to the place where the US say enough is enough, they move in for that level and they start to hold them accountable. Now for them now, they start to move in for serious negotiations and eventually South Sudan can gain independence. It can. But until you put that pressure for the dictator, for all the people who are surrounding, if you not get that kind of power like the US get them, you know if you do that kind of work. So for this policy, with this new policy framework with the US government, it introduced them specifically, as they call them, the Anglophone crisis, for the conflict for Southern Cameroons, for the conflict for AMBAZONIA, make una know say na the beginning this of the end of Paul Biya. Now the beginning this for accountability and responsibility. Not just the beginning this. The new ambassador they don't send in, now also a signal for say the old don't pass, now not time for new. Not time for new behavior, not time for new thinking, not time for new action. All these things them na signal. So for the Ambazonian people them, the way we don't conduct ourselves, the way we don't behave internationally, the way we don't project ourselves, with the kind leadership and style, how we don't conduct ourselves. Now the maker, both on the ground, our posture on the ground, our defense posture on the ground, our resistance on the ground, the determination of the Ambazonian, Mami them, Papa them, and all people them for ground zero, for always observe the independent ghost town, country Sunday every Monday. The colonial school boycott principle as a sign of collective rejection of the colonial educational system, where self-defense forces them all across Ambazonia. Now all these things, they say will be a determined people, will be a committed people, will be a focused people, will be a resilient people, and where resistance, it will continue until the root causes of the conflict it be addressed. Until Cameroon occupation, Cameroon annexation, Cameroon colonialism of Ambazonia, it come to an end. The Ambazonian people, they get back their sovereign country, they get back their freedom, they get back their land. Once the CDC will be determined and will be committed enough, they go always change policy. So now because of our resistance, now because of our people them, their sense of determination, now all those things, they make the United States now and the world at large, they take these new steps. Now, I know saying baby steps, I know saying slow steps, but I saw diplomacy there, but as the leader don't always tell we get for be patient, we get for stay focused, we get for stay committed. The world will move to what you want if you not blink. All right? When I go see say Canada too go follow very soon. When I go see say even the UK go change. Now so it always work. Once the biggest country for the world, the most powerful country follow, all international partners, they go change. Even Macron don't get any choice anymore. Them too they go follow. Now so it always be. As for the Ambazonian people them, wanna be very hopeful. Diplomacy is slow, but wanna be hopeful. Say we go get what you want them. Make us stay focused and make us stay committed. We need to count on diplomacy. Diplomacy is not the tool for just forget the negotiation whenever it happens. The key for our liberation now the defense of homeland. The key for our liberation are the power on the ground. The generals, the commanders, the soldiers them. The power on the ground, now they make diplomacy, you get teeth. If you not get power for ground, you not get any teeth for buy diplomatically. If ground zero be very weak politically, ground zero be very weak militarily, so too the talk for outside here, it could be na jama talk. The more we strengthen ground zero, the more they will change their position towards you. The world not like vacuum. When you move Cameroon out, you must exercise the power and authority for sure so you be ready to become a powerful player for be person if you provide peace, security, and stability for the world. As for Cameroon, the doom of Cameroon, the end of Cameroon, the disintegration of Cameroon, not just the beginning this. As for Paul Biya, eventually, just like all other dictators and global criminals, just like all other terrorists, just like the Saddam Hussein, just like they go after Gaddafi, just like they go also after Osama bin Laden, just like they go after people like he, we see the same road. They come towards Paul Biya. We see the same signals. It go end up just like the other one them. We not get faith. We not get confidence. The continuous resistance for ground are the key for the liberation. Are the generals the whole arm, are the soldier the whole arm, are the forces the whole arm. Now, make a talk for Wamami them. All across the world, whenever a people they go through this type of a genocide, whenever a people that they go through this kind of human rights abuses, that they live through under tyranny like this, Mami them, you need to ever shit on quiet. No mami, no Ambazonia mami. It not supposed to shido. Quiet. For see he own pikin. They be slaughtered. And you, where you born that pikin, you labor, you carry the belle, you carry belle, you raise that pikin. You see your pikin, you see a terrorist occupation forces. They come for your house. They come for your village. They come for your town. They come for your quarter. For broad daylight, for evening, for morning, for night. Broke your house. Move your pikin. Put it for your front door. They shoot them. And then you, that mommy, you decide for she don't quiet. The attitude of AMBAZONIA mothers must change. The attitude of mommy them for ground zero must change. Una rise up, organize una selves for defend the rights of una pikin them. Defend the lives of una pikin them. Una start for speak out against Cameroon occupation, against the injustice, against the abuses on AMBAZONIA pikin them. For most part of the globe, when these kind of things that happen for society, now mommy they be the moral pillar for every community. But for AMBAZONIA, you see AMBAZONIA mommy they will come out. They say the one can call for peace. The one go advocate now for peace. They play this, go join the colonial enablers. Say they form Northwest and Southwest Peace Task Force. But they not stand for their own picking them. They not stand for the dignity of their own picking them. They not call out the atrocities of the Cameroon terrorist government. Then now which kind of mommy wanna be? Now which kind of mommy wanna be? Mommy need to fear danger when it comes for a picking them. Even if na lion enter house, if na mommy the house, that mommy go stand for face that lion for protect it picking them. Even if na tiger, it broke door for chop picking them, mommy go stand up first for confront that tiger. Now the power of mommy that. So they call on all AMBAZONIA mommy them for stand up for defend the rights of AMBAZONIan people them. For speak out, for speak up, speak the truth like mommy for Kumba, speak the truth like mommy for Bamenda. Una woke up, speak the truth. Now all that will ask una defend una picking their future. Any person, any mommy, where they go decide now Cameroon for preach for peace, you do for the wrong side of history. If we guarantee you that. Because as for AMBAZONIA, you see all that car wala them, where they make that their noise now, all them go change. As AMBAZONIA start for win, as the world start for move towards AMBAZONIA, you go see all these new John Frundi them, all those political prostitutes. When I go see all them go start for move. All them go start for cross water. All man, a tongue go change. When I go see them, their tongue go twist. They go start for speaking tongues. You know go ever know say that people in that way they support the colonial state. Once they start for see your progress, once they start for see the end don't come. AMBAZONIA, they realize I say AMBAZONIA now the future. AMBAZONIA now the highway. All man tongue will change. All. Muna no wait until that time. Una start now. Make mommy they start for speak up now. Mommy them for village. When una see Cameroon police, una see Cameroon army, una see Cameroon B that they come. Make all mommy they gather. They hold their hand them. All bami una gather. Una come out for village with una empty chest as a sign of protest against the occupation against Cameroon occupation of Ambazonia. Una stand up for line for front village. Una say una no go enter. Una hold hand. Say una no kill what begin there. Una go. When they come at me, una speak for their skin. Una speak for their skin. Una drive them. Any quarter where they enter, make all mami them mobilize. They become the defense for protect the quarter. Una make una self the shield for protect una picking them. Same thing when they come for village, they come for any town. Una must make a made know say they not be welcome for Ambazonia. Any place where Cameroon police, gendarme, army, SDO, DO, senator, parliamentarian, councillor, mayor, una see, una make it live for shame until it run. They not be welcome for Ambazonia. For the crimes that they don't commit among the Ambazonian people, for the terrorism on the Ambazonian people, for their genocide on the Ambazonian people, none of them be welcome for Ambazonia. Ambazonia therefore be a place when a no-go place for anything Cameroon. Mami, they must demonstrate them. Papa, they must demonstrate them. Sisters, they must demonstrate them. You must demonstrate your indignation of Cameroon presence to Ambazonia. When I see police officer for road, make all man speak for his skin. When I see army man for road, when I speak for their skin. When I see them for road, when I say, when I go. Una peace for bucket, una trump for their skin. They must leave Ambazonia. They must leave Ambazonia. We must stand firm. We must stand courageous. Papa, they must stand firm with their picking them. Mommy, they must stand firm with their picking them. For what the people that they ask for. Na collective resistance. Na collective resistance. Na collective defiance. Cameroon don't finish economically. Politically don't finish. We must end their presence on Ambazonia. Any place where they dey for Ambazonia, may no man not say and chop. No man is not said and chop. They must leave. All right. And they talk this way. I talk say, make I can share them with una. Oh, today so since yesterday, the Ambazonia Defense Forces for Bui, one of the camps them for Bui, they be attack from 4 different points. Where La Republique du Cameroon, they bring in plenty ammo cars for inside around that block for invade and attack one of ADF camps them for Bui. We hear say, we don't hear news say when one of the boys, some of the boys and for the Bui warriors, when they hear say one of the ADF come with they for near them, they under attack, we hear say one of the commander they he send his soldier them, may they go give back up. Now a good sign this, we welcome this sign, now a good signal this, we welcome what happened for Bui today, if not true. We want to thank General Capo for the resistance we put on, for being surrounded by La Republique du Cameroon from 4 different angles. He and the forces, they chop fire. They don't fight them for more than 24 hours. We see say they say they don't the armor truck them. They be the withdraw. So we want salute General Capo. We hear say during those battles, from information what they get the soldier they lost 2 soldiers for those battles. So if you understand how it's not easy for the forces them on the ground, for the resistance that they put on, for the sacrifices that they make under intense circumstances, under very challenging circumstances. They can't chop fire where they chop fire. For the kind of war where they fight them. All for your own liberation. All for your own freedom. For make sure say you be free. For make sure say AMBAZONIA be free. We pray for them. May God bless them. And as always, the leadership will always they provide. For make sure say number 1, they get everything they need for protect themselves, defend themselves, and for defend their blocks and the people and the community. We thank them for their sacrifices and their service for liberating AMBAZONIA. That's the message you do get them for all for today. As always, may God bless all man. As always, when I stay fine. As always, when I stay strong. And as always, when I stay positive. As always, when I stay committed. All right. I did look for sponsors. I did look for people that would be with the one help for help for buy 400 pairs of uniform and 400 pairs of boots for the forces and where they train them. For the special army, for the special forces where they build them as the professional trained army. So, or when I get my phone number, when I contact me, any two way want support for help we buy 400 pairs of uniform and 400 pairs of boots for the specialized forces them, please. We'll be very happy. Now I don't see other people that they step in for do their best. So we'll call on any citizen of AMBAZONIA where you want to see we transformed the forces them into a professional, trained army for stand up, for fill in the gap for the defeat of Cameroon as AMBAZONIA National Army. Please reach out for we and see what you if you do. All right? As always, we love for now. When I get a beautiful night, may God keep on us safe. When I stay fine, when I take care. When I take care, make all man get a blessed night. And for people then for North America in the afternoon, when I get a good afternoon and when I get a good day for workplace. May God bless all man.
Here, here.